And isn't it a problem to have a veggie burger
No, I
because
think,
of the?
yeah, I know your argument for it. It's like wearing fake leather. Uh you're copying an animal product with a non-animal product. So what are you saying,
So
right?
you're publicizing it whether you're doing it or not.
You mean
It's like wearing fake fur.
it means what you're saying is you look like you're eating a burger, so to everybody else you're a meat eater? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
I guess I can see how you would say that. Um, more for like the fake fur and the fake leather, I would say. Then like I mean, you're sitting at a table with 5 people and you order a veggie burger. Those 5 people all know you ordered a veggie burger and nobody else in the restaurant is probably paying any attention to what you're doing. So I think you made a bigger impact on those 5 people than you did on everybody else in the world by eating a veggie burger. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. No. Yes.
Yeah,
I think
the
so too.
vegan thing, I'm still wrestling a little bit with it because um, because I think I can find some dairy products that are cruelty free. And so then the only thing I'm thinking about is my health.
Mhm.
And I've got a long history of disregarding health issues and eating things because I like the way they taste. And so I could imagine having an occasional egg from a free range chicken.
Yeah, and here's the thing about that is like if you are a vegan 90% of the time, you've made a huge impact on the world just by doing that. So unless, I mean, like, I think I'll probably end up being a vegan because of my personal stance. Like, I want people to know that I'm a vegan and I want to speak out about it. And so for me to ever consume an animal product would be so hypocritical. But I think for the average person, it's really hard to imagine never having a piece of cheese again or never having regular ice cream again. And so if you could convince people to like I said before, to like 6 days out of the week be vegetarian or 6 days out of the week be vegan, and then on that one day get to have their treats, I don't, it's just like JP has a really hard time believing that he's never gonna have pork chops again. Like it's
Yeah.
the never factor that is so hard for people.
What happens at Easter and what happens in the holidays when you have traditional foods that you are expecting, and it's just like we've talked about a number of times. Food becomes a reward,
Hmm.
and if you use food as a reward for this and that and the other, then you plan your whole evening around food.
Yeah, I'm hoping eventually food won't be used as a reward. It won't be used as something you use when you're bored. It won't be any of that. Food will be food and it has its place and I have the rest of my life and my entire life doesn't have to be tied to food because I feel like right now so much of my life is tied to food, which means so much of my happiness is tied to food. So right now, of course, it seems like a huge sacrifice, but it's always been my hope that eventually I can separate the two and food will just be there as support, not as my life.
One of the other thing, going back to what are you most concerned about? I've got two other things I'm concerned about. One is getting a balanced diet, and the other is not so much eating out as eating something somebody has cooked for you.
That is one of my biggest concerns for sure.
Yeah, because you don't want to insult them, you don't want to inconvenience them.
Well, since we don't have any friends, we won't have that
we
problem.
have family.
Yeah, but we have family.
Yes.
And I can imagine some being more supportive about that than others. So
we'll find a way around
you
that.
can. I think you, Lindsay, can get around it easier because you're a different generation.
Yeah.
Maybe, and maybe it would be more insulting or whatever if we said, "Sorry, we can't eat anything you made."
Well, my biggest concern is that I'll tell people that I'm vegan eventually. And so one of my friends or family members is going to try to make something vegan for me that they think is vegan and it'll have like cheese or something in it, but they'll be like, it doesn't have any meat, you can eat it. So they'll go through all this work to make me a dish that they think is okay for me, and I'll get over there and be like, shit, Like, what do I do? You know?
Yeah.
So that's one of my biggest concerns is it's insulting. And is there a time when you can give in to save people's feelings? I don't know.
I think for a person to know that you are vegan before you've come to visit, and you're going to visit for at least a period of time where you're going to have one or two meals, I think I think part of what my plan would be to take something with me.
Well, and I think that's what I'm going to do a lot of the time too. And if maybe you can call the person ahead of time and say, don't try to make anything special for me, but I'll bring a vegan side dish that'll be plenty for me and anybody else can try it too. You know? So then everybody else gets a chance to try and you're not insulting their food. Everybody else can still eat their meal, but they can try yours.
It's always a potluck.
Yeah.
When you're a vegan, it's always a potluck.
So every time you go to visit somebody, it's a potluck. What way is there possible in this world to turn the entire population to doing stuff that's right for the environment and for animals? What possible way is there to handle that? Because I don't believe there is one. So you're one person.
Yeah.
Well, she's one person, and now there are four. JP and you and I. Michael has changed a little bit.
So we're going to save
Kristen and Sarah may say, and so
we're going to save a cow a year.
It's 90 animals a year per person, isn't it?
Is it? That's awesome. No, I didn't know that statistic.
You just made that up.
No, I did not just make that up. I read that. It's huge.
I feel like all you can do to start with is educate people, because there's so much propaganda about the meat and dairy industries that people still, I mean, like, so many people are still growing up believing that that milk is like the cure to everything, you know, like milk is one of the most healthy things you can ever consume, and that turns out to be completely false. But who would know, you know, like, who's out there telling you this stuff? You know, there aren't like commercials on TV, you know, public service announcements telling you not to drink milk or telling you not to consume meat. So the information isn't out there for people who aren't looking for it at this point. And so I think the entire goal right now should just be getting the information out there however possible.